Hello everyone. This video is about philosophy optional answer writing for beginners. This video is dedicated to anyone who has chosen philosophy as their optional in UPSC, regardless of the stage you are currently at. The goal here is to break down what really goes into writing a good answer. Because no matter how much you study, how many sources you read, or how many notes you make, at the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing: the answer you produce in your exam booklet. That's all the examiner has to assess you, to judge you, and to know what you know. One can never emphasize enough on the importance of answer writing, because we all know that in the UPSC circle, most aspirants refers to the same standard coaching material and books. So what creates the difference? Because for any given subject, there are few popular selected material that everyone is aware of, everyone has access to, and everyone goes through. So the difference lies in your ability to translate that existing knowledge into well structured, lucid, and meaningful answers under exam conditions. And in this process, in learning this process, PYQs are your guiding light. Because UPSC, even if it wants to explore and evolve, then also it will evolve and explore within its own framework, within its own set previous trends. Now let's break down what makes a good answer. So broadly speaking, there are two aspects to it. One is the presentation part, the other is the content part. Content is all about what you know and how much you know about the question being asked, whereas presentation is about how you present that knowledge into an answer. Coming to the presentation aspect of it, there are three key elements that constitute the presentation aspect. The first is handwriting. Now, it should be legible, not beautiful necessarily, but readable, just readable. So do not overemphasize on aesthetic. Clarity is the key. Next is structure. Here you have to use proper headings, subheadings, spacing. A well organized layout helps the examiner grasp your argument faster. Your aim here should be, through your structure, to reduce the efforts of the examiner to go through your answer, to navigate through your answer. And third, an often overestimated aspect of presentation is flowcharts and diagrams. See, it is important to use them, especially in Indian philosophy like places where chronological or conceptual connections matter, but use them sparingly and meaningfully. So ensure that you do not end up overusing them. Coming to the content, this is the backbone of your answer. This is broadly on which the examiner evaluates you. So here, first and the most important, learn the art of addressing the demand of the question. Break the question into parts, especially if it's a 15 marker or 20 marker. All components should get equal treatment. For example, if there are 3 parts, suppose in a 15 marker, so allocate about 5 marks worth content to each. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि एक पार्ट के लिए आपने पूरा 2.5 पेजेस फिल कर दिए एंड इन द एंड जो कंक्लूसिव नोट की तरह बस दो लाइन बाकी 2 पार्ट्स को आपने डेडिकेट किया. दैट लुक्स वेरी डिसबैलेंस्ड. Also, analyze and make the use of keywords of the question. Understand the intent behind directive words like explain, critically evaluate, discuss with your opinion. So don't ignore them. These keywords are there for a reason and they set the tone of your entire answer. Next, logical flow. Whereas if it's a 15 marker, give a brief context before analyzing. Whereas if it's a 20 marker, use a fuller background, multiple perspectives, criticisms, more philosophers, and a nuanced and analysis-based conclusion. Now coming to the logical flow and structure, which is in general important for answer writing, but even more important for a philosophic optional answer writing. Your answer should read like a seamless argument. This leads to this, therefore this, and hence this. So one point should organically lead to the next. Therefore, it is very important on your part that you avoid jumping between unrelated thoughts. Random नहीं लगना चाहिए कि बस यहाँ थे अब कहाँ आ गए. The flow should be very organic, very smooth, and it should help the examiner to make sense out of your answer effortlessly. It should convey your point to the examiner very easily that you know the concept and have understood it properly. Next, we have to keep in mind jargon and technical vocabulary. Philosophy is a technical subject, so your GS style generic language won't suffice here. So use original jargon. For example, Jainism, say, is incomplete. Any answer in Jainism is incomplete without terms like Syadvad, Anekantvad. Similarly, Vedant must have terms like Brahman, Nirgun, Maya, etc. So use Sanskrit, or for Western philosophers, foreign language like German and Latin terms with diacritical marks if possible, so that the examiner knows that you understand the concept of transliteration. And this also shows conceptual clarity and precision. So these terms are what convert your answer from generalist to specialist, and it again helps you in putting your point across the table. But when I said technical vocabulary, please do not confuse it with complex, very advanced, very hi-fi use of language. Clarity over complexity will always be rewarded. Your language should be simple, clear, and coherent. Your language should be natural and easy to understand. It must reflect that you have understood the concept yourself. Don't complicate it with unnecessarily ornate language. Just insert technical terms wherever needed. That too, do not overuse it. Now, coming to the importance of logic for the logical content itself. Till now, what we talked about was logical flow of the answer. Now we are talking about logic in the sense of logical content. See, philosophy and logic are inseparable. Like globally, even in academia, if you ask anybody, philosophy is always introduced alongside logic from the very first semester in any university. That's because the core of philosophical training is logical argumentation. So make sure to structure your answers like this. Present the theory, then introduce the criticism, and then the defense part. So this is especially important in questions like where they have explicitly asked you to evaluate, argument, to argue, or to analyze, to critically evaluate, or they have asked about your opinion. So show evolution, how a particular idea developed, evolved through history with the help of debates over a particular period of time. पहले मंडन, फिर उसका खंडन, फिर अगेन उसके डिफेंस में पुनर्मंडन, मंडन, खंडन, मंडन. Theory, criticism, defense. That's it. Now, while concluding an answer, many a times it may happen that you may personally do not agree with a particular philosopher's ideology. But even if you personally disagree with a philosopher's idea, don't and almost never take an extreme stand. Don't say things like, very casually or very loosely, like this failed or this is irrational. Instead, conclude very positively in a very respectful language, adopting a humble tone. For example, let's say you personally do not agree with the idea of Hume and you find his philosophy very baseless, too skeptic, or too rational. So instead of saying that this failed or this was irrational, adopt a little diplomatic tone. Like, despite its limitations, this theory served as a foundation for further philosophical developments. For instance, Kant's response to Hume reflects how skepticism became a stimulus for new ideas, and that is why Kant was indebted to him. The philosophers that we study in philosophy, like Gautam Buddha or Adi Shankaracharya ji, or any other for that matter, they were not ordinary people. They were highly evolved human beings. What they realized through deep experience and inner journey is something that we as ordinary humans may take lifetimes to fully understand. So, as students of philosophy, we must approach their ideas with genuine respect. It's okay to not understand everything right away, but the first step towards true learning is to accept with humility that we do not know it all and defend every philosopher in letter and spirit while maintaining a critical detachment. Now, I guess that's almost everything from intro body till conclusion that goes into making a good answer. So now let's see how to begin an answer writing. First thing first, start with previous year questions because no coaching, no mock papers can ever replicate the standards and directions of UPSC. And even if you, as I said earlier, even if UPSC wants to experiment, it will evolve over its own pattern only. So the trend evolves, but always builds on the previous patterns. So first of all, do PYQs theme wise. So they are available out there in the internet or previous year question compilation for philosophy optional. You'll Google, you'll come across many website, many coaching websites ka link, and from there you can download it. They are compiled year wise and theme wise. I will personally suggest to go for theme wise. Like you should read one philosopher at first, then you should go through all the question and try attempting questions based on that philosophical school or philosopher right after you have done it. So you will get to know whether the resource that you have referred to is sufficient or not, whether it is helping you to address all the demand of the question or not. Write your answers, get them evaluated, and then build upon that feedback. And this is how you refine. Don't rush to write tests. First of all, this exercise should be your base. After that, only you should move to a test series only for a time bound writing practice or exposure to unseen questions to practice in exam like conditions. Yet, why am I emphasizing on the evaluation? See, evaluation matters because you can't always see your own mistakes. Since most of you haven't studied philosophy before, or even if you have, it was like in an academic context, not UPSC style. So, to get feedback from someone who is experienced, who has already been through it, saves you a lot of time, energy, and efforts. It is always better to learn it from someone else's mistake rather than to do it on your own and then learn. The experts can always point out the structural gaps, conceptual clarity, language issues, and it will help you build your confidence with PYQs that, okay, whatever I am doing is doing the right way. Someone is there to validate and approve of it. Also, there are many added benefits of joining an evaluation program or an evaluation group because, first of all, there will be so many people other than you who will be writing answers every day. So that will help you in maintaining the consistency. You'll get motivated. you'll see that everyone is showing up every day, writing answers. So if you're doing it on your own, you may after a while feel demotivated, get derailed. But if you're doing it along with your peers, you'll always have someone to compare with, to uh, compete with on a healthier note, as well as to learn new expressions, points, examples, and approaches. Okay, these are the mistakes that I could have done, these are the points that I could have added, or this is the way I could have presented my answer. And in all this, consistency is the key. As they say, it's better to bleed in practice than in war. So, writing similarly is a skill, and it sharpens only by doing it, by practicing it gradually over a time. Answer writing is a process, so don't chase perfection from day one. Start small, stay consistent, take feedback, build upon those feedbacks, refine. That's the process. That's all that you have to go through. And there is no better time ever to do anything, even answer writing, to start than now. Resources are available, mentorship is available, peer groups are there, feedback platforms are there. You have to use your reason, pick and choose the best for yourself, and then make the best out of it. Always, instead of asking for more and more, make the best out of what you already have in life. And I believe this one habit can elevate your rank drastically. And we are always here to help you, and we are more than happy to help you through your through this journey of yours. So all the best.